morning and welcome to Introductions. This is WFMT's weekly show that features the Chicago area's top musical talent. I'm Robbie Ellis and today I'm live in our famed Daniel Levin performance studio. Today we're featuring a Chicago talent who lives out of town most of the year, but this weekend he's home on spring break. Kené grew up in the Hyde Park neighborhood on Chicago's south side, but is currently a senior at Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan, where he studies piano with Kara Huber. He's been part of the Indiana University Piano Academy and the Curtis Institute Young Artists Summer Program, and he recently won third prize in the inaugural Nina Simone piano competition. What a great person to name a piano competition after. He's appeared on WBEZ Chicago and ABC7 Chicago, and we're delighted that he can add WFMT Chicago to that list of stations. Here's a prelude by Frédéric Chopin, Opus 25, number 12 in C minor, nicknamed The Ocean. Pianist Kené is live on Introductions. Beginning his recital with Chopin. That was the Etude number 12 of the Opus 25 set. The Ocean Etude. 17-year-old Kené of Hyde Park, Chicago, or Interlochen, Michigan was the performer, and he's at the microphone now. Kené, welcome to Introductions.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. So let's get to know you a bit. When was your start in music? Do you come from a musical family?
So I started piano when I was 3 years old, because my parents actually read in a parenting book that playing a musical instrument can increased brain functioning in children. I actually do not come from a musical family. Neither of my parents play instruments, but my brother does play violin as well.
So your parents encouraged music at the least. So I believe that you started at the Hyde Park Suzuki Institute, a local music school for you. Lucinda Ali Landing, she's run that for over a quarter of a century. What'd you do there?
I started off just taking piano lessons when I was in preschool. When I was around 6, I was actually super jealous of a lot of my friends who played violin and cello. They got to carry their instruments everywhere with them. So I begged my parents to let me start taking violin lessons, and after about a year, they acquiesced. So, and a year later, I ended up switching to viola just because a teacher did a little talk on the viola, and she mentioned that there were college scholarships that very common for a violist, and I was like, hey, you should switch. So I ended up switching, and I also, as I got older, started doing chamber music at Hyde Park Suzuki, which was very fun.
Well, we can talk about your non-piano activities later on. You do conducting as well. We'll talk about all that later. But you're in the unique position of being a Chicagoan who's attended 2 different arts high schools. So starting with the Chicago Academy for the Arts, you did your first 2 years of high school there. Tell me about that.
Yeah, when I was looking to apply to high schools, the Chicago Academy for the Arts actually came and did a presentation at my middle school, and I thought it was very interesting to get to have an arts education prior to college and getting to incorporate that into my day. So I ended up doing a shadow day, visiting, talking with some former students of my middle school that ended up going there, and I just thought the environment seemed so interesting, and thought the opportunity to get to incorporate an arts education so early on would be great for my career. So I ended up applying, and I got in and wound up going for my first 2 years of high school.
And it's a very, very small school.
Oh yeah.
Like 100 and something students.
Yeah.
Yeah, near Chicago and Halstead. But then you and your family made the decision that you would be a boarding student at, I'm presuming that you're a boarder there, you're not commuting through that. Yeah. So Interlochen, Michigan, of course they've got summer camps and but also a boarding school for high schoolers.
Yeah.
What was that decision like to move to Michigan?
Yeah, so I actually had no idea I was going to go until I think about July of that school year. So I went for the camp, and one of the admissions officers did a presentation on the school, and I was like, there's no way I'd ever go there.
Okay. and after that?
So I actually met the viola teacher at school, Renee Skerrick, and after having a lesson with her, I really learned so much, and we worked really well together. So she ended up contacting my parents and just kind of coming up with the idea of me potentially attending for my junior and senior year. And I applied, I got in, and I was just kind of the thought that I would go there. I was like, this is just a long shot, just to see if I get in, just whatever, I'm not gonna go. I got in and I was like, oh, maybe I should go. And I talked it through with my parents, I talked it through with some friends that I met at the camp, and I just decided, why not try it? It would be a pretty big step in my career, but it would also be an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up. So.
And you are coming to near the end of your time there. We'll talk about plans for the future beyond that. But let's get back to the music. We've heard you in Chopin so far, later on Still and Brahms, but what is the very next piece you're going to play?
I will be playing Bach Prelude and Fugue in D major from the Well-Tempered Clavier Book 1.
Thank you so much, Kené Obiaya, 17 years old, live on introductions this morning. And as he mentioned, Book 1 of Johann Sebastian Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier, the D major Prelude and Fugue, live from the famed Daniel Levin Performance Studio on Introductions. Johann Sebastian Bach, Book 1, an essential text for any aspiring classical pianist. You heard the Prelude and Fugue in D major, played by Kené. 17 years old. He hails from Hyde Park, but currently studies at Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan. Kené, you talked briefly about your experiences with the Interlochen summer camp, but you've done others. How about you talk about your experiences at the Jacobs School in Indiana and at the Curtis Institute, those summer camps there?
Yeah, I went to IU here, Indiana University Piano Academy last year as I was beginning the college application process, just so I could get an idea of what the campus looked like and what the kind of energy was like and get to know the teachers there. So I enjoyed it a lot, actually. There were great opportunities for master classes. We got to see a concert every night, which was fantastic. And we also got the opportunity to perform in our concert hall, which is a beautiful space and probably one of the best, or the best hall I've ever performed in. It was so great.
Yeah, they've got some lovely facilities at Jacobs and the Curtis Institute, right in the heart of Philadelphia, Rittenhouse Square. You hang out there as well?
Yeah, I actually, unfortunately, got into the camp the year of the pandemic, so it ended up being online.
My mistake.
But
okay.
It was, I still got a chance to work with a lot of teachers there and learn a lot of new things. I spent a lot of time on music theory because my theory was not so great when I was in the 8th grade, but I learned a lot.
And you've been part of a competition recently. I had never heard of this competition before you applied to be on Introductions and put it in your application. But there was a very good reason I hadn't heard of it. It's because it was brand new. Please tell me all about the Nina Simone piano competition.
Yeah, so it is a piano competition for aspiring African American pianists. There are 2 age groups. There's 3 age groups, one for adults, one for young adults like high school age, and then one for some younger kids. So I was in the middle age group for high schoolers, and it took place at the University of Cincinnati. It's run by Awadaji Pratt, and I actually heard about it because Professor Pratt came and gave a master class at my school, and he also performed a concert. And after the concert, he was speaking with my teacher. He brought up this competition and kind of encouraged her to get some of her students to apply. So I was like, I'll do it, because I wanted something to do over the summer. So I applied. I was selected to take part in the in-person portion of the competition in Cincinnati. And it was a great experience. I got a lot of performance opportunities. I got to meet a lot of young pianists, and I also just learned a lot from the judging panel of the competition. They gave some talks, and they were very, very hands-on with all of us, very involved in supporting us, encouraging us, giving us advice on our careers, which was great.
And did you get to play with the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra as part of that?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Is that for the winners? All right.
Yeah.
But the next 2 pieces you're about to play, I understand that you prepared them exactly for the Nina Simone competition. Tell me about what you're playing next.
Yes, I will be playing the first 2 movements of William Redstone's 3 Visions.
Okay, so that's Dark Horseman, which is pretty terrifying, one of the terrifying visions.
Yeah.
And then after that, Summerland, which out of the 3 pieces of 3 visions is definitely the one that gets played the most because it's the gentlest of all. So thank you so much, Kené Obiaya. 17 years old, he's about to present the music of William Grant Still on Introductions this morning. Dark Horseman and Summerland, 2 of the 3 visions. We're live from the Faye and Daniel 11 Performance Studio on Classical WFMT. Two pieces by William Grant Still, Dark Horseman, followed by Summerland, Part of his Three Visions suite, they'll play today live on Classical WFMT by 17-year-old Kené Obiaya. Kené is on the show today because he was listening to the radio and acted on a formulation of words pretty similar to what I'm about to say. If you're a talented local pre-college musician, you are eligible to audition to appear on this show. Our application form is found on the web, wfmt.com/introductions, which is also where you can learn about upcoming episodes, listen to previous ones, and learn more about today's soloist. All of that is on the web, once again, wfmt.com/introductions. Coming up, Kené Obiaya plays late piano music by Brahms. You're listening to Classical WFMT. Introductions is sponsored by John Norwood Lee Bowes. Introductions is also made possible through the generous support of the Kené Foundation, the Kiphart Family Foundation, and the listener supporters of Classical WFMT. I'm Robbie Ellis, and I'm here today with 17-year-old Kené Obiaya. Originally from Chicago and a past student of the Hyde Park Suzuki Institute and the Chicago Academy for the Arts, he now studies piano with Dr. Kara Huber at Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan, where he's a high school senior. And Kené, we've heard you as a solo pianist today, but you mentioned earlier that you also play viola. When did you start viola again, and how have you balanced that instrument with the piano that we're hearing?
Yeah, I started viola when I was, I think, about 6 after switching from violin. And so far, I think I kept kept piano and viola at pretty much about equal levels up until, I guess, this year during the college application process. I actually started at Interlochen as a viola major. And I ended up switching second semester last year because I decided that I was going to apply to college for piano. So,
what prompted that decision to switch? Because there are a lot of pianists in the world. Viola might seem like a more stable career potentially. I don't know, what prompted the decision for you?
Yeah, I think I'm just in love with the sound of the piano and the vast repertoire. You know, viola is beautiful instrument, but just not a lot of repertoire. And I think I could just feel myself being more drawn to the piano just because of the vast possibilities of the different array of music and all the various composers that wrote so much piano music.
You have also been getting into conducting, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me all about those experiences.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly when it started, but I kind of just had this little thought in the back of my mind since I was hearing that I will conduct someday somewhere, but I will conduct, along with whatever else I decide to do as a career. But I was actually able to realize that after going to Interlochen, because they have not one, but actually 2 different conducting classes. So they have more beginning, intro to conducting class, and then there's advanced conducting. So this year I enrolled in advanced conducting and been learning a lot about score study, leading rehearsal, things like that, how to make clear your interpretation of a certain piece. And I'm actually very excited because for our final project, we each get to conduct an ensemble for a concert, and that will be happening sometime in May.
And what's your ensemble? What's your music?
To be determined. I still need to get approval of a piece from my teacher, but as soon as we return from spring break, we're going to start working on that, getting together an ensemble and choosing repertoire.
Well, best of luck. I took 1 semester of conducting at university, and it was the single most useful paper I ever did at university. It's just prepared me for so much, even just that 1 semester. Outside of music, you've told me that you like playing volleyball, but this is not a popular decision among everyone in your circle. Why is that?
Oh yeah, so volleyball comes with a lot of hand and finger injuries, unfortunately. So my teachers have not been a big fan of me playing volleyball.
So have you injured your fingers yet? Or is it a matter of time?
Hopefully not. I haven't so far, thankfully. Knock on wood. Hopefully it will not happen in the near future.
Well, yeah, physical fitness is important. One time I was a goalkeeper for soccer, and the ball managed to hit one finger and one finger only, bend it back, and I had to call out of orchestra rehearsal that following week because I could not play the double bass. But anyway, back to you and back to your music. One more selection in your recital day. The very last solo piano music that Johannes Brahms composed, his Opus 119 set. Why did you choose these four pieces?
Yeah, after returning to school for my senior year, I needed to choose a romantic piece for my college auditions, and I previously chosen the Mendelssohn Series, but it was not working. I just could not figure out the piece. I didn't want to play it anymore, so came back to my teacher, Dr. Huber, and we had a little brainstorming session, and she gave me some suggestions, and I hadn't really listened too much to Brahms's piano music. I only really knew him for his symphonies and vocal pieces that he'd written. So she suggested 2 Brahms opuses and 1 Schumann. So I went and I listened to them, and I just could not stop listening to the Brahms. I was playing it on repeat. I was like, oh, I have to play this. This is so beautiful. So I went back to my lesson. I was like, I need to play this piece, Dr. Huber. So, and I ended up learning it and using it for my college auditions, which I'm very glad I did.
He wrote so much beautiful piano music near the end of his life. Do you think you're attracted to this? Maybe, do you consider yourself an old soul? Is that why you're attracted to this?
Oh yeah, that has been a phrase used to describe me for pretty much my entire life. My parents love to call me an old soul. I once told a friend's mom that during a school break I was going to sit by the window and drink tea and read, and she was like, "You're such an old man."
That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Kené Obiaya, 17 going on 70. He's heading back to the piano now to play the complete Opus 119 set of Johannes Brahms, written in 1893. 3 intermezzos followed by the final Rhapsody in E flat. Kené is in WFMT's Faye and Daniel Levin Performance Studio live on Introductions. Four pieces, Opus 119 by Johannes Brahms. They were the three intermezzos in B minor, E minor, and C major, plus the Rhapsody in E flat, played by 17-year-old Kené live on Introductions today. And I have just a couple more questions for you, Kené. You mentioned that you prepared those pieces for your college auditions. It's in March, so you don't know where you're going yet. But what have you been looking for in a music school?
The main thing that I've been looking at is to see if there's a teacher I like, a teacher that I can see myself working with for the next 4 years. It's really going to push me to be the best musician I can be. And then I've also just been looking at things like performance opportunities and location, just because I ideally like to be in a bigger city, but who knows, maybe if the right school for me is in Lorain County, Ohio, that's where I'll go.
Well, you've been living in a smaller place lately, Interlochen, so
yeah.
you've decided that you are a city person at heart.
Yes.
Has viola, has conducting also been a consideration for where you might go to school, or is that further down the line?
It has been. I would really like to go to a place where I do have the opportunity to continue taking viola lessons, and also just looking to see which schools do have conducting incorporated into their curriculum, and conducting just opportunities for students throughout their undergraduate programs.
Well, so many different factors, and admissions people it's a whole new brave world for admissions people this year. But looking way further ahead, past college, into a musical career, do you have any sort of musical ambition or musical dream? It could be a piece, could be a venue, could be a collaboration, anything at all.
I guess this one is kind of on brand for me as a Chicagoan, but I would love to perform with the CSO. I think just performing with an orchestra is really fun, and so I would love to do it, especially at Symphony Hall. It's such a great hall, really great acoustics. So.
You're not the only person to have said that, and definitely on brand for a Chicagoan. Thank you so much for coming into the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Kené Obiaya, 17 years old, from Hyde Park, back here on spring break. He studied for many years at the Hyde Park Suzuki Institute and Chicago Academy for the Arts, currently a high school senior at Interlochen Arts Academy and a piano student of Dr. Kara Huber. And that's it for Introductions today. As always, more details are on the web, wfmt.com/introductions. Our audio engineer was Max Lebien, and I'm producer and presenter Robbie Ellis. Catch you next time as I feature more of Chicago's top talent every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on Classical WFMT.